they got like all these stuff they bought. I mean, they keep adding and adding. There's one in the corner.
Yeah.
And it's like, that I said, yeah, you're rich, and I'm like, I see it through my back out the window. Here I was thinking, I was like, up on the road. And they come back in, you know, I don't know.
It's gonna be creeping in here.
They got a lot of money wrapped up in this.
Good. It is 7 o'clock. Are you call this meeting to order? Marcy, can you lead us in a moment of silence for our pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Can we do a roll call?
Miller.
Here.
Allen. Here. Geisler. Here. Beavers.
Here.
Craig.
Here.
Nichols.
Here.
Beavers. Or Geisler, sorry. Yeah.
All right. Do we have any public comments?
There's no one online.
It's Caroline Wilson, and I'm your Shiawassee County Clerk. I know there's some new faces on the board that I haven't met before. I've got directories here for you, and then Kim can contact me if you need any more to have at the city office. I'm out giving an update on the clerk's office, and everyone should be aware by this point that we are back in the courthouse, which is exciting. They are looking at hoping to have the open house that they've been kind of talking about Friday the 15th. It's not confirmed, but that's the date that kind of came to me at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. If you'd like to take a tour, that's the day to kind of show up. I'm also reminding constituents that we do the fingerprinting in our office for this new CPL people, not renewals, but new. And I'm also informing people of the law that is trying to get passed. It's called the red flag law, which it's for if individuals are trying to purchase a gun and there's any kind of mental illness or domestic violence in their history with a background check, that they're not able to even purchase a gun. So that is something also that they're trying to do. And then mostly I'm out talking about the 9-day early voting. And so this is the biggest thing that people haven't realized, the effect on the county, the tax dollars for the Shiawassee County. Proposal 2 that passed gave up to 29 days of early voting with a minimum of 9 early days. And the county has gone into an agreement with everyone except for the city of Owasso, which we were not surprised by that because they have 6 precincts. We went into a grant and just received word last week that we have received 100% of that grant money. So that was like $150,000 between the city of Owasso and myself to obtain election equipment and things that it will take to establish the early voting site. That location is going to be at the Veterans Building in the back location with, remember, it was a Griffin's home, and that was called the community room. We were just there for our temporary visit for the renovation, and it is ADA compliant, has the internet, and has everything that we would need. So it was really, it's a great room to have the early voting. So that's where it's going to be. And the state of Michigan has more money than they anticipated, and that's why we received 100% in the grants, because a lot of counties, well, not a lot, there's a majority of counties that went into agreements and the local municipality came on board where they were not necessarily anticipating that. So that's a good thing. My attitude was that why not get money if we have to establish this? This is a constitutional change. It's here to stay. And I also thought that if clerks, if I was going to help the clerks, this was a good way to do it as well, because it's here. And how do you staff and run something for 9 days, even though we were able to select 8 hours, and we keep that during the business hours. But I've had 5 clerks already tell me that they don't plan on running in 2024. because elections have changed so much that they're not interested anymore. So I at least now know that the county will be covered with this mandate that's coming down the pike, but as far as the local clerk, I am also becoming an advocate, and cities are a little different than the townships, but your clerk still has to be in the role for elections a lot more than they ever had to be. And I know with Paula leaving, that's a big hit for this board. And if you have to divide the position, you still really need to look at what your clerk does. Elections set aside, that they are having to be in there more, and the demand is on them more. I'm encouraging boards to look at giving them maybe a per diem or something, because you don't want to lose them. And then I did receive an email from the Michigan Associations of Municipal Clerks today. They are also coming along and saying clerks need to be compensated for the work that they're going to be doing. So that's just a tip of the iceberg of what elections and how they're changing for 2024 going forward. So like I've said to my staff, we're just taking one day at a time. Not gonna freak out. We're just taking one day at a time. So there's a lot going on. And let's see. And that's kind of it. We're always available. If you have any questions, feel free to contact my office. And good luck on your filling the position. Big shoes to fill.
So you're kind of telling us that they're adding duties to our clerk because of this, and that's why other people are saying we're gonna have to start paying the clerks more because they're doing more work, and that's where this per diem thing is
Right.
coming.
The law is changing to where they're being mandated to be in the office more. The weekends before is a mandate that came down back in 2018, that they have to be in there the weekend before. That's mandatory now. They have to have skin in the game with this early voting. We have an agreement that we've gone into, so they all have to have skin in the game. I might be running it, but they're going to be posting an individual day. And then the processing of so many people think that, oh, the clerk can get all of her work done during the day with processing of AVs, because that has tripled since 2020, when I say AV, absent voter. And that there's a lot of work that goes into that it isn't something that they can necessarily get complete. So yes, the state's putting more on us. I'm saying to the clerks, this is your constitutional responsibility. I'm here to come alongside, but ultimately it's their responsibility.
Based on the fact that we have this position, we have to fill. You're a good resource for our deputy clerk.
Oh, yes. I've already told Kim,
Yes.
this is the 4th city clerk that I have new. So I will not let anyone fail in elections. And so I
appreciate that.
haven't had anyone so far been able to do a one-on-one, but she does have some background a little bit, and I'm just a phone call away.
So we're hoping to fill this position quickly, but the election is in April.
February.
February,
27th.
so quicker, yeah. So if we wanted to bring in some help, what kind of qualifications? If we want to bring somebody part-time, and I'm not suggesting, I'm just asking, right, to help with the election, what kind of qualifications would that person need to have?
It's really hard because I came in as clerk only knowing how to vote. And you really don't get the experience until you're working an election. So if someone had any experience where they've been a continuous election inspector, that's always a plus to have an understanding of that functionality. But that's a different avenue from the clerk.
Right.
Because the Bureau of Election also is overwhelmed, has a lot of new staff coming on, so they're falling short on doing their training. They're counting on us to do our training, plus some of their training. So if someone comes in, which I do have someone that came on that has no experience, I get with them and we talk about steps. Here's your resources, the Bureau of Elections, here are things you have to do right away. But then I come alongside and do it.
But I'm talking about somebody that can say, hey, go do this, or hey, do this for me. No?
I think she's your request right now.
Okay, okay.
Right, it's kind of a hands-on.
Okay,
Yeah, you know, you have to take the training just to get even into the QBF and do anything in there, and that takes a while, and.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I've done, you know, 3 elections now, so at least, thank God.
Every election is different.
Yep,
Every year it's different. Every election is different. So
thank you.
just let me know when you do get someone in there and then I'll reach out to them right away.
Perfect.
Okay,
Sounds good.
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Here to watch? No. Is there anybody online? I think Cassie said. No. Okay. All right. Want to introduce somebody. I don't know if you've all had a chance to meet. I don't know when you got here. Dick Burlingame. He's our city attorney. We asked him to come so the council could meet him.
Glad to know you all. I've been coming here since many of you weren't even born. Since 1969, okay? And if and when you have questions, just funnel them through our new clerk and she'll get a hold of me and I'll be glad to answer them. Get back with you, okay? I'm here to serve. And my job is much easier. You got a champ for a chief of police and the police department. It is a well-run machine. And I've represented many municipalities, so I know of what I speak. This is a good department. And that's mainly what I'm involved with is the handling of the misdemeanors, doing contracts whenever called upon. But I'm at your beck and call.
Thank you. All right. Can I get approval or a motion to approve the November 6th, 2023 minutes?
I second.
Okay, anybody have any questions or any discussion or anything they want changed on it? Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes from November 6th, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say aye. The minutes from November 6th have been approved. Can I get a motion to approve the November 20th special meeting? Minutes.
Make a motion. A second.
Okay, any discussion on the minutes from the November 20th special election? All right, all in favor of approving the minutes from November 20th, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say aye. All right, the minutes from November 20th, special meeting, those minutes have been approved. Can I get a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I motion.
All right, any questions on the treasurer's report? Any comments and thoughts? Okay. All in favor of approving the treasurer's report, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say aye. All right, the treasurer's report has been approved. Thank you. All right, now to the items of business. 120 West, the renewal of the recreational marijuana facilities license. Oh, sorry. We good with that? Do we have everything in we need?
We do, we went all over it. And it's all good.
Okay,
I make motion.
I'll second.
any more discussion, any questions? I think we were pretty,
Oops,
oh, go ahead.
I guess we gotta clarify.
We're gonna schedule a public hearing.
The 120, actually west, this 120 west, Great River.
Ooh. Oh, West Great River.
Oh,
Noted.
No, that's it.
as opposed to just 120 West.
It's not west. it's
I get,
Great-
no, I get,
Did
yeah.
all
West
West
Street.
Street.
Yeah, 'cause it could- yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. All right, so can we get a new motion
Make motion.
I'll second.
for approving?
120 West Grand River.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Gail seconded.
Yeah, okay. All right, anything else? Any other questions, concerns? I think we knew we've been through the whole other stuff and we knew this one was coming, so.
Well, this is the renewals part, right?
This is the renewal, yeah, all the rest of the stuff is coming. All right. We need to do a roll call for this, you think? Let's do a roll call. Sorry.
Miller,
Yes.
Allen. Yes. Geisler. Yes. Beavers.
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Geisler.
Yes. All right. Special assessment for 219 Grand River.
West Grand River?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so what's the next step on this? We need a resolution to approve the amount of debt to.
And now we're at what, $600, it looks like?
We need a
No, no,
resolution,
no.
but approve the amount of debt, collect it, and we need to make a motion and have a public hearing.
Set a date.
Yeah,
There you
and
go.
it says the date is in here already, date at 7 o'clock, so the next meeting.
Oh, yeah.
All right, can we get a resolution or a motion for a resolution?
Make a motion for resolution.
And that is to prepare a public notice and have a public hearing for the next. Okay, any other discussion?
So the total debt is $600, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if they don't pay the $600?
That's what we're.
That's what it's doing.
It usually goes on the 10th.
Other taxes.
Yeah.
And really, that's what we're doing. is
It gives them a chance to talk, like
Right.
to come and state their position on it.
Do we know who owns that property?
Yes.
Mr. Harvey Brantley,
Yeah.
along with a couple other people.
Okay.
No.
Is that
For the fireworks.
with the house right down there?
The one next to Clyde's house.
Yes.
Still next, oh,
At the gas station.
yeah, okay.
We had somebody inquire about buying. it.
He had a sign up point time ago for it, you know, but I don't know what happened with that, but.
Yeah.
I should have sold it there in Moran.
Oh, actually, right here. Promotion. Resolution. Okay,
So do we, oh, so we don't do a roll call on that, do we? Because it's no money involved, right? We wait till
Yep.
special, gotcha.
all right. So, we have a motion, we just need to, vote on it. All in favor of passing the resolution? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say aye. All right, that has been approved. All right. Job listing for treasurer clerk position. First, I want to thank, Ray, Randy and RJ for taking the time and putting this together. Want to go through it tonight, and it looks pretty good. Want to get everybody though to see if there's anything we want to change. We'd like to have it ready by the end of tonight to have it ready to be listed, put out where we're gonna put it. So.
Definitely a lot of stuff involved.
Yes, right.
Looks
right.
like-
It looks like it's overwhelming,
Yeah,
I feel like sometimes, but it's really, I mean, Tim will know, when you're doing your daily tasks all the time, it doesn't seem like a lot that you're doing, but this is. It is a lot, but when you're doing it, it doesn't seem like it's a lot.
The
You're
samples
just-
definitely had a lot in them, so it's normal,
Right.
but it is a lot.
Here's my take on it. You're right, it seems overwhelming, but when I started going through it and.
It's stuff
and
that you
saying,
do
well, we
repetitively all
don't
the
need
time
this,
anyways.
oh, yeah, we do.
Mhm.
We don't need that. And Jill's like, yeah, that's the most important thing.
Right.
Okay, So-
different relation. Accepted
You know,
gap,
so it's
you
like,
you didn't know what gap was, so.
so,
There's two jobs in one.
Yeah,
true, right,
Right.
yep,
Right.
yep.
seems like a lot.
The only thing that I wondered about was the driver's license thing, but I'm sure there was some reason for that. There was some mention of having to have a driver's license and a good record or.
Well, so you get to work, maybe, I wonder.
Yeah.
If they have to go to the bank.
Oh.
Okay.
That way they can get there.
Oh, and while I'm being covered under probably the insurance here for the city.
Liability.
There's a lot of liability, that's why I needed to have some type
Yeah.
of insurance. So,
And then also I thought maybe we needed to find out, are we gonna make them fill out an application too, or just some resumes or? And then if they're gonna send it, like where, so.
Let's go
okay,
through this
okay,
first.
okay.
Let's get this approved and then I have some notes that I want to go through on next steps and that is one of them, so. You know what, take a look, take a minute, see if you see anything. I know, we have in here a sentence that says a sense of humor will come in handy. I'm good striking that.
as a movie.
I thought that was kind of interesting when I seen that.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah. We kind of plagiarized some, the lawyer's gone. So good.
So what about keeping in the willingness to jump in and,
That should stay.
I like
because
that.
They need to have that, but the sense of humor,
Mhm.
I don't think it should be
No.
on this. I agree. Maybe
It's
in
not
an
very
interview or
professional. Yeah,
something, but it should not be.
Right.
Right. Willingness to jump in to do things that are needed,
Mhm.
that is a normal pass. I would imagine Kim could say that, you
Yeah.
hop in and all employees, so.
I think it's a nice lead in, if it's like softer, cause all this other stuff is a lot.
We'll just change the sentence to a willingness to jump in to do what's needed
Mhm.
and strike out the we all do.
Yeah.
Part, right?
Mhm.
I agree with that. Why does it show number 39?
City app and
Yeah.
number 30, it's in there a couple of times.
We didn't. I don't think that was on our.
It
draft,
wasn't on our copy, though.
I did, okay,
But it's in there a few different times.
it's probably a
Maybe formatted thing or.
Yeah,
format thing, yeah.
our AO letters do that. sometimes.
Yeah, it's in there a few times, but not intended to be in there.
Probably the same kind of symbol that we were using for that.
Right.
why it popped in.
I like that some of it is preferred, like you're still open to. I don't think we're gonna find an exact candidate that fits all of this.
We can be open to
Mhm.
look outside the box, possibly.
And we're good, and we talked about this last time, we're good with having a range of 50 to 70.
It's something to start with.
Right, yeah. You have that?
Well, and some stuff might
Right,
come with
right.
time. I mean,
Upside
unless we
down,
find somebody,
right
even if
button.
they had a career in something specific.
No, it's not.
Right, true.
All right, so are we good with this job description?
Mhm.
Besides the corrections, that would be.
Right, with the, yes, and then it looks like it didn't like the apostrophe.
Yeah.
I mean, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Cause I took what you guys had and put it into, not Word, but Google Docs and.
Okay.
That was,
I just edited it that way.
yeah, right,
So my question, you're gonna talk about later that it seems like at the bottom there should be how to apply, like. where-
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay. You're gonna-
no, we'll get to that. Yeah. All right, so I put this together.
They're 2 for 1.
No, just one. We have to go both ways. This is just kind of what I saw as a timeline. We can change this, we can do what we want. but just wanted to, same thing.
Oh.
So let's-
We got plenty of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got,
Yeah, yeah.
yep, might as well. Um, So we've just done, so like I said, we can change any of this. This was just my thoughts for proceeding, moving forward, right? We've improved the job listing. Discuss the process moving forward. So this is what Gail's asking about is, okay, I'm out there, I see this. How do I respond to it? Where do I send it?
I guess I thought that we were posting it on like a job application website.
Did they-
Where like a button is just always there to like apply.
Right, yeah, no, I would agree.
Like
just-
Indeed would know.
Yeah,
Yes.
but through the intergovernmental, whatever, the websites that Paula were mentioning.
So we're not gonna list it in the newspaper, I guess?
I don't think so. I would not recommend that. I would list it focused on people that we want. I mean, like other clerks or people that have that experience. I mean, the newspaper, in my mind, people glance over it really fast.
Unless we're required to put it in the newspaper.
Yeah, I wonder about that.
See, I think we wanna make sure that we open it up before. I think that, you know, we don't wanna like say, oh, this is who we want. And that's all my only thought, but I think we should at least put it on our Laingsburg, city of Laingsburg as
We can
an
do that,
opening. And so we got, where are they gonna send the resume, you know,
Right.
like, that's, even if, you know, we don't do the paper or whatever, I just feel like the MML or whatever, I think they have some kind of button, and it seems like, make sure that we do that one, cause that's site is someone that with
Yeah.
qualifications would look, but it just seems to me that it should go to the clerk, the resumes should go to the clerk. We should gather them for us if someone comes, if it's sent email per se. I was just thinking of adding on the bottom of that
Email your resume to the CEO.
to the clerk's email, yeah. And if she gets any that way, as opposed from other sites or whatever
Right.
But even then, how are those coming into us? You know what I'm saying? At some point, they have to have a place for that.
Is this
to come.
something
Yeah, I mean,
you're
but I'm fine with having all the resumes sent to me.
right, but in
On
terms
one
of
spot.
where it's posted and how you get them.
I do agree the paper's probably a waste of money. I mean, just because very few people read it anymore.
Yeah.
But most people don't even look for jobs. there
Right,
anymore.
yeah, no, I agree 100%.
But definitely on our website and, you know, the other,
The MML, and there's a couple other sites that for the state, for clerks.
yeah.
And treasurers should be on, because they
Yeah.
scan that all the time, so.
Yeah.
The only reason I was even thinking of newspaper is that some people are like, why did you hear about that? And I just thought,
For
I
the
don't really
public
know.
side of it, so that. at
That's,
least it's
I'm
on
just
there.
saying, what my thought, yeah, it doesn't mean you have to do it, but,
I mean,
I don't know how many we're gonna
Do
get on the
papers still
paper.
do job
No.
listings?
they might, but.
I mean, I don't know.
What I've seen in there lately, the one that comes here is mostly foreclosures right now.
Yeah.
There ain't crap for job postings in there or someone wanting to sell something. I don't really see it.
As long as we do our site,
Right,
I was just gonna say, how
For
do you-
sure.
Our site, MML,
Yeah.
and then maybe one or two. I just, like Indeed, I wouldn't go down Indeed either. I mean, this is a highly focused job in my mind.
yeah,
So I'd rather,
Indeed has those too.
it does.
Yeah, I mean, I would, I'm not saying that I think we should put it on Indeed, but I wouldn't eliminate it from
Right.
Indeed. That's,
if it comes down to that.
And
Right.
again, it depends on how many do we get in by the date, and
Right.
then we look at, do we like any, if we don't,
Right.
then we can expand.
right,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, we also don't want to flood it with like 4,000 applicants.
Exactly, because then we
Not that
can't
we
get through
do
it.
Right.
Right.
Especially on the timeline that we.
yeah,
wanna
I
have.
think we're gonna have.
Just saw it after the city, yeah.
I mean, so we'd have to kind of like
Hey,
stay
you never-
locally, you know, to keep someone kind of locally to, you know.
Right.
Apply,
I mean, we've
whatever.
talked to a number of people that have people they're gonna recommend. I don't know that we're gonna have a shortage of people applying.
Right.
Don't know anybody's name, but, uh,
But it seems like we need to decide now where we're gonna list it if we're gonna go forward.
Right. right. I agree. So we're gonna put it on our website, on the MML website. What other ones?
I'm out of that loop.
I can, I mean, I can contact my father who has the city manager's stuff.
Mhm.
and I can see what that website is, I can try to see if he can get it to me tonight, I don't know if he will. Just to see what that website is.
Any thoughts from you?
I mean, MC is, there's a Facebook page that we have, it's just for the clerks.
Okay.
And, I've seen other people put
Okay.
their jobs, which would be get to all the clerks, and then the clerks can.
And that might be the same one he's talking about, I'm not sure.
Right, right.
We'll just see.
Yep. Yes, I'm good with posting it where we want to until cost becomes an issue. I mean, I don't know, on Facebook, I don't know if there's a cost.
No.
On our website, there wouldn't be a cost. MML, would there be a cost?
I think we're members, so I don't.
I think remember, so I think
Yeah.
it's right.
In
I
fact,
mean,
it was actually spelled out in the thing, how you did it, in the back there.
yeah.
I know this.
Okay. So we have 3 sites. Greg, you're gonna see if there's a 4th.
Yeah,
one? No,
See
we
if
don't
we
wanna
get
do, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm just waiting to see if he
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
back to me tonight, if
Yeah,
not, we'll have to get it out tomorrow.
So we don't wanna do the newspaper, don't wanna do like an Indeed or something like that. Any other sites that we,
Can't think of my fans.
okay,
If we can start with the 4 and
so,
see what we get.
yeah,
Yeah.
so a couple things. I would say let's do those. Let's also, Kim, if you find some others that are logical like that,
Okay.
money's not involved, I would say, I would say let's approve her to go ahead and post them.
I agree. I'll make a motion to approve Kim to post it in an appropriate position on the website.
I'll second that.
Should we have it together when we approve the job listing and Kim, I mean. that we
Oh,
all
her
approve
approval to
that-
be able.
I mean,
to
yeah,
do
we
it.
all approve what's here with just that one thing stricken or whatever, we all approve what's
That's
there. Take out the 39 is right, but. And then that she would handle the posting.
Through and crossed all that out, and then just the one sentence.
All right, so we have a motion. We have a second,
RJ talking about
okay. Are we, any more discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say aye. All right, that's been approved. So one of the things we learned talking to Dick was our interviews need to be an open meeting. All right, so now the candidates can, and really the only people that can ask this, according to him, are the candidates that would be a closed meeting. So if we have a candidate that doesn't wanna have that they're looking, right, in an open meeting, they can request.
What do you mean by open meeting? Like it's live streamed?
Yeah.
Yes. People can come sit in.
But it's live streamed out on our YouTube?
Now, in that situation, if anybody comes and watches public, they can't comment or get involved, they're just there to spectate.
Just, yes, that's true, yes.
I just want, so we can
Yep.
get people that interrupt everything and that can make, a 15-minute conversation go
Yeah.
2 hours.
Right, right. Yeah, so to that end, I put on here, have resumes go to deputy, that's the right, deputy clerk at Laingsburg.us, right? And then what we'll have to do is we will have to redact all personal information from that. I mean, we can see it, right? Addresses, phone numbers are really what I can think of that would have to be redacted, but anything that goes in our packets or anything like that, we won't be able to have that information. So,
So you skipped about, we're gonna have a deadline of 1/1/24.
oh, I did that, yes. So, again, if we want to change this, that's fine. I said 1/1/24 for a date, for a cutoff for receiving resumes. That's a month, right? Is that enough time? Do we think that's enough time?
I don't
Is,
know.
is the office closed on those dates? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, so here's the logic for 1/1, right? We have a meeting on the 8th, right? It's gonna take Kim some time to take these resumes, depending on how many we get.
Right.
Well, it wouldn't, I guess it wouldn't have to be done by the 8th, because, well, yes, it would.
We have to go in our packets.
Yeah, they have to be redacted and all that stuff, so we need some time to do that. That's just the logic of why the date, right?
Okay.
But you're right, one is not open. So
I'm just saying, if it's
Yeah.
not
Couple
open,
days before
like what
that.
day do we open, like
Yeah.
on the third, or make them do it by the third?
Right, yeah, we can do that.
Unless Kim's gonna really come in on New Year's Day. I
Oh,
doubt.
yeah.
So,
Or
I
we
mean,
could
that
take
it-
it before.
yeah, that way some people, you know, if they're thinking about it, they say, well, let me think about till the second. And,
Mhm.
well, that way we can, whatever date that we open back up, it should give enough time, I would hope, if not, then.
Right. I guess I don't know is that it makes a difference to me whether we do are we open the 30th or we close the 30th?
We're closed.
January
30th
1st,
is Saturday.
Monday is January 1st, so.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm like, what day is that?
I know, we didn't look at the
Yeah,
calendar.
the 20
Oh,
the 29th
Yeah, the calendar.
29th or
I'm glad
the
that's
second.
January 2nd.
I would
January
just
2nd.
do January 2nd.
Yep.
Even if we get some on the 29th. I know Kim will be. Just talk the thing all weekend.
We have time.
Right, so you're in house, though.
We have time the next few days to get it hosted. So that
We should
okay,
be able to.
then we would have close to a month.
We'd have close to one.
But if it's gonna take 2 weeks for whatever. reason,
No,
maybe
I
we should
mean,
extend it.
definitely, we should be able to do it by. end of the week, right around there, everything.
And if we get to that point, we don't have, I mean, we can always extend. it. It's just this is more for the following steps, right?
Then we'll have that city council meeting and then we can say if there's not enough applicants, then we can decide to leave it out there a while longer, but.
Yeah, so then on that meeting on the 8th, we will go through the resumes as a group and determine who we want to move forward to interviews, so. Yeah.
But what if,
Also, so-
sorry,
no, you're fine.
so like review as a group, what if we have 20 resumes to go?
Well, I think we can go.
I'm just thinking
Yeah, yeah.
time wise, I mean, are we gonna be here till midnight or?
Yeah, well, yeah, so let's just say we'll put them in the packet, get the packet out. Like
Okay.
Thursday before and everybody can go through
Needs
it
review, okay.
and,
So at the last meeting that we discussed this, that, I thought we had said that we were gonna look at like a committee to review those resumes. I'm not-
found out since then it has to be an open, all this has to be an open meeting process.
We talked to Lauren.
Talk to Lauren.
That. part
So that's
as
just-
well. Okay, gotcha.
Yep, so,
So we have to review them, the resumes as well.
Unless the candidate requests to be a closed situation,
We said just
that they have to
Just for
request it.
review. Well, you're saying for the interview.
for the interview, yes.
Yeah, I was talking about just reviewing the
Oh,
resumes.
yeah.
I don't know, it just seems awkward, I guess, to like
I-
openly discuss a resume, whether or not they qualify to be interviewed.
Public is so much different than a private situation, is my understanding. But
You have-
we don't know
you gotta
if
be
you have
transparent.
any- You've hired people. and
Well,
so I
because
don't know if
people
you have any
question
different
it,
into this,
we
but-
hide it.
But it is a different situation.
I mean,
as
it's
far
not
as-
like we're reviewing them in public, it's just when we decide.
But how does that work with them being on like our website because they're in our packet?
We would
Like their
require
resume.
Personal information.
We have to get the personal information.
Oh,
Like their name.
okay, that's how it is. Oh, okay.
I mean, people will be able to see,
The job quality
The job,
side of
yeah,
thing, but not their personal.
their name
Okay.
and, I mean,
I'd almost take their names right now too.
if we wanted to, we could. strike
Especially if they
them.
ask for privacy.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, if they ask for privacy.
I mean, you could also, as far as reviewing why, you could just rename them A, B, C,
Right,
D.
right.
And then when you're discussing them, you're not actually saying it.
Mhm.
that's a good idea.
Just so that,
That's a great
Yeah.
idea.
yeah, I agree, it's kind of awkward.
Yeah, not that we're
Yeah.
trying to hide anything, I just.
Right,
think
right.
it's kind of a sensitive
Yeah.
thing, that, like,
Yeah,
no, you're not eligible for X, Y, and Z.
right.
And then I would like to also in that meeting, be thinking about this kind of a set of standard questions that we would ask everybody in the interview. Right, and 3 or 4 questions. What would you do in this situation? How would you handle that, whatever that might be, right? That we ask everybody, right?
Will the interviews will the council as a whole interview each person
Mhm.
at a council meeting or a special meeting
Yep,
yet to come?
yet to come, yeah. That'll definitely be a,
That'll definitely be a, that'll definitely be a, eye opener to see like for nervousness. And
Yeah.
how comfortable someone could be. I mean, I could only imagine
Yeah. Live
Right.
streamed on the internet.
with all of us
Front of
asking
A
questions.
lot of people in the room.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I mean, but we verified. So. And then, so back kind of what you were saying for interviewing, right? I would say, let's set up a special meeting on the 22nd. Again, if timing works, right? And we would have all the candidates, so here's my take on resumes, right? Or on interview. Kind of like the college football playoff. I'd rather have more interviews than eliminate somebody that we think might be, right? I'm not saying if we get 40 interviews, we need to interview, if we get 40 resumes, we need to interview 40 people, right? But if we get down to 5 or 6 people and we can't decide, I don't want to set a limit of, we're only going to interview 5, and then we get down to 5 or 6 people and we're not going to do the 6 because,
Right.
I've interviewed plenty of people that their resumes looked great. You got them in an interview and they were duds, and other people that their resumes were like, no, and they were like, oh, this guy's great.
And we're not, we can say on the 8th, if we only have 5 interview or 5 people, then we know it's not a big deal. But if we do have 40, at that point, couldn't we on the 8th take some of them out of the running before we decide to?
Yeah.
At that council meeting on the 8th?
Make sure.
If we had 40 people and some of them were obvious that we saw
They're
the
duds.
resume and they're duds, could we
Well,
take some
yeah.
out and
Yes.
narrow it out on the 8th
Yes.
before we?
I think on the 8th, we decide who we're gonna.
But we all look at all of them. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, yes,
Yeah, because there'd be no screening before then.
right.
Because we have screened,
Could,
yeah.
but I think
We can't though, right?
right. No, that's true. That's right.
We're trying to do as much as we can. We're transparent of what we're doing.
And then what I was thinking for the interview was, we have everybody come in here, right? All the candidates. We start by just giving them the 10 minutes. Hey, this is what the job is. This is what we're looking for, kind of what you'd start a regular interview with, right? Just, this is who Laingsburg is. If you don't know, blah, 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 blah. Everybody would hear that. And then we'd have all the candidates go out and then come back in one at a time, give them 5 to 8 minutes. Basically, I tell people to sell yourself, right? Why should we hire you? What are your candidates? What are your qualifications? What does your resume not say, right? And then those standard questions that we come up with, I would ask those just to be consistent with who is giving them, right? But then the council would have 5 minutes to ask other questions, right?
So
Hey,
there's
you
some-
said,
right.
you said this, what did you mean by that? So,
So based on what they're saying, if we thought of something that we wanted to further ask a question, that would be our time.
Will each of the interviewees be in the room together?
no, other than the first part of describing the job, who we are and what we are. At that point, I would have them go out and come back in one at a time. I don't think that would be fair to, oh, hey, I know they're gonna ask me that question.
Right.
I
Just
get-
also winter.
I get an hour to think about
Wait
it.
on the snow. either.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll
Yeah.
keep them in some place back there real cold before they get
That's right.
there.
Popcorn machine out there. Bunch of snacks.
Lots of coffee and.
And then we'd have a chance to discuss the candidates, and depending on how many we got, how many we interviewed, right? We could maybe have to break it up, because if we're talking a half hour per interviewee, and
Long day.
it's a long day, right? So then having a second one, and then after we get all the interviews done, we can discuss them. And select a candidate. Or we can discuss them, come down to 2 and say, hey, we need to set up another time to a second interview for a couple of them. We can't decide. That we're gonna have to play it by ear. Make sense? Again, this is, we can change this as we need, but
So really, on the 8th, we're gonna have a better idea. Do we have some candidates and do we have some people that look like they are qualified? And I think the other stuff below is a great idea, and then we'll just decide.
Yeah, I know what I said earlier. I don't think we want to interview 10 people, right? I just don't. But if we get 10 people that are all, we may have
The
to.
next thing too is if they all show up.
Well, that's right.
Oh, they don't show up.
I've seen that where
Oh, yeah.
at work, it's like, oh, maybe they found another job or something.
Well, and that may, I mean, that was the other reason for having the second special meeting ready to go, right? We may call somebody and they go, I got this going that night. I'm getting married and I can't make it that night. Right? Okay, we'll have a second night. And we don't have to do them on a Monday night. We could do those separate night that everybody could make. It's just kind of what I was thinking. So. Make sense? Okay.
So that day, 1/22, there is no other meetings going on here in the city.
It's just looking at,
Because when would there be a planning?
yeah, planning question.
Yeah,
Third Monday.
no, the third Monday is the 15th, so maybe that would work, actually.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, so it is open.
But the 29th, then
no, that's the DDA and. 15th.
Other option, we'll do the fire.
good, yeah. Yep. We'll figure that out.
That's not a bad idea.
Not bad.
For a place for them to hang out while we're interviewing that we're suggesting.
No, if
We can do
there's
some
DDA
live.
here, we go out there, or we send DDA out there and we stay here.
Also maybe a more suitable.
Well, probably, we would
building
probably have to
for
be
it.
here, because that's to be live streamed, doesn't it?
Doesn't have to be live streamed.
Oh,
For
yeah.
the
It has to be
interviews.
kind of like a
It
public.
has to be public. It doesn't
Oh,
have to be.
oh,
live
okay,
streamed.
okay.
Okay, there's a big difference there.
There is,
Yeah,
yeah.
there is no law that says that we have to live stream.
We just do it for transparency.
Right.
DDA meeting starts at 6. We can tell them they have to be done at 7.
Oh,
Another option.
well, yeah, I mean, they're off this month, so, and they were off
Right.
last month.
They're probably gonna have a long list of changes.
Who knows? It means I take another month.
We'll figure that out. We have options. We can figure that out on. All right. Anything else on that?
So do we need to vote on that motion?
Did we not?
He did.
Did we? Okay.
Thought we did.
Will the discussion of their like job offering and salaries be? I don't know, I'm so caught up on this, but now hearing that we don't have to live stream, what will we be live streaming? What will we?
Well, so we don't have to live stream.
Mm-mm.
I would say you don't live stream any of this.
Okay, I
It's
don't,
open.
I think we should, if we aren't required to, I would advocate towards not live streaming it.
Right.
But keeping it open to the public.
Keep it on.
So you wanna come in.
Yeah, because just anybody can get on the internet and look it up after we're done with it.
Yeah, I don't know. When we get to the point of negotiating salaries and stuff.
Right,
Yeah,
I get that.
right.
Well, now keep in mind, those are all,
It's all public.
All
Yeah.
public
Public
knowledge,
knowledge,
you can't
yeah.
write it.
Agreed.
But also like with live streaming it, like you said, you don't want somebody sitting there knowing the questions for an hour, but
Oh,
if you're live
yeah.
streaming it, they're gonna go out to their cars and
it's true, right?
I know
Yeah,
the questions
yeah,
now.
Yeah, all right, so we will not live
Right.
stream. We will not live stream these. Okay, anything else we need to do on that?
I think it's a good plan.
You'll be pulling up the speed by the February election.
That's right.
Here's the home.
And you gotta have that budget at the end of the week.
Yeah, tough first couple of weeks. but You'll get there.
Yeah, throw them into election, that's all.
What is that? Is it?
It might actually split by then.
Yeah.
Probably keep them far away from the election as possible if we want to keep them.
Yeah.
All right. RRC renewal, Olivia,
Yeah,
I see your name on this.
yeah. Laingsburg is approaching their 5th year in the RRC program, which means that we need to update some of the best practices, documents and guidelines that the MEDC gives us to continue being certified in the program. So I've been undertaking those things. And the 2 attached are pretty simple. I don't know that they really need any action per se. The first one is a public engagement report. So this is a new best practice that RRC requires. It's providing an annual summary to the governing body on public engagement undertaken in the given year. I think moving forward, a lot of communities included it in their planning commission annual report, but this year I just did a separate document. So at the bottom, it's just outlined some of what the city has done to engage with the public.
Okay.
And then the second is incentive policies. So the expectation is that the governing body looks at the economic development tools that the city provides. I think it was every 5 years, if I remember correctly. So I listed out what Laingsburg currently has, and I missed one. We also offer tax abatement, or the option to provide tax abatement. And then at the bottom of the page is other economic development incentives that the city could undertake if it was of interest to them. This can just be a first scan through, and there's no expectation that we add something if the city isn't interested in it. They just want to make sure we're re-looking at it and trying to gauge where we're at and what would help economic development in Laingsburg. So those are the 2 things right now. And there will be a lot more in the coming months with the RRC stuff. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done.
So obviously we want to renew, but is there a date that we have to renew by?
Yeah, April of 2024. I think that they're fairly flexible if they know something's in the work, because like a couple zoning ordinance needs to be changed or updated, so that obviously takes a good chunk of time going through both the planning commission and then city council. And then like we are doing the community marketing strategy with our RRC technical funds. That won't be done by April, but I've talked to Katie, who is our MEDC community planner, and she knows that it's going to be done. So like things like that, if it's in the works, it's okay. But yes, the like deadline for things they want majority done is in April.
Okay, good. So we'll get this back on the agenda when we need to approve it. It's very good. Thank you. So we have on here the mural project and food trucks. What I would like to do, and Olivia, don't hate me. Okay.
Okay.
I would like to have a review of Olivia's projects just as a agenda item on an ongoing basis, where you could just kind of give us a quick 2-minute, hey, this is what I've been doing on this, on the mural or on the food trucks, right? Now, if you have something that we need to approve or something like that, I would like that to be a separate agenda.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So we don't need anything formal for your update on projects. But, you know, and unless you need something from us, just, okay, does that make sense?
Yep.
Perfect, thank you. All right, mural project.
So the attachment for the mural project is a request for proposal that I wrote up following. Williamston was kind enough to send over a lot of their materials that they recently used for a mural project that went up downtown. So it's a very similar format, and I followed what information they provided and things like that. So moving forward, I wrote out a timeline, but I think I'll remember it. But anyway, I put out a public survey to try to gauge interests of theme and one mural versus maybe a couple to a few small murals downtown. And I think I would recommend moving forward with several small murals. That was by far I think it was 64% of folks voted for small murals. I would also recommend keeping the theme broad in the RFP. That's what Williamston did, and it allowed different artists to choose what they were good at, like drawing, while still following like a broad theme. So I would recommend, which was also voted the highest in that public survey, keeping it like a theme of community. And we can add a couple more descriptive words if that's too broad, but I think it is in the best creative interest to try to keep it general, so we get a lot of different choices, especially with several different murals around town. And then when I talked in the office, we think that in the request for proposal, we will list out the 6 buildings with a brief description and pictures, and let the artist also choose what space they think would be best suited for the murals that they create, and just have them choose like 2 to 4 out of the 6 choices that we give them. So those are my recommendations for moving forward, and it has to move fairly on a tight timeline, considering we only meet once a month for approval and like selecting an artist and whatnot. So I'm hoping today that I will get approval to send out the RFP with the desired theme, pursuing several small murals, and then letting the artists have a little bit of choice on where they think their art should be placed.
So
Is the end goal to pick one artist or several artists or multiple?
I think the goal would be to pick one artist. I think that'll work most smoothly with the budget that we have.
How many people have voted on your survey?
169.
And where was that? Was it on Facebook?
I posted on the community page, the city's page, and posted flyers during Winterfest.
Well, let me bring up a couple concerns, for lack of a better term. So basically what I hear you saying, and I like this, right, is we're gonna put out an RFP. The artist will come back with their ideas of based on some thoughts, right? Come back with ideas of what they want to do, right? What happens if we have 2 artists that have very similar things and we select one and the other one comes, wait a minute, that's what I did. How do we handle that?
I mean, we picked one, but
I'm not sure
So,
exactly, but I feel like people have like similar ideas a lot of the time, so I feel like it would be a pretty okay thing to navigate.
it's just like 2 candidates that have very similar resumes.
Yeah.
You're gonna pick one over the other, and there's gonna be some kind of a
Right.
thought that we.
but that's intellectual property is what they're doing, is what they're giving us, right? And I put time into putting that in. How do I know that you didn't just say, oh, I like this idea, but I don't like that artist? Here, can you paint that? I'm not saying we wouldn't do that. That's what I'm concerned about, right?
No, we stole their idea.
We stole their idea, and that would be the other thing. What
Oh, yeah.
happens if we?
Like a copyright type.
Yeah, I mean, now, maybe we need to put in the RFP, something I haven't obviously read the whole thing. Maybe we need to put in there that any ideas put in this RFP is open for us to use, right? Somehow, some legal verbiage, but that would be, I mean, I like the idea. I know I'm not an artist, right? I'm not gonna come up with a great idea. I don't know about you all, but it makes sense to have the artist come up with the idea, but that is their intellectual property.
You know, the cool thing about it is we've got local talent here that they're really good
Right.
painters that went to school here, they're from here. And I'd like to hopefully get them on board. I'm gonna say something to one of them.
I'm
A
all
lot of
behind
people-
that too.
A lot of people know him, so that's how I heard it, was through the grapevine, that he was really, really good.
It seems like she has a contact over in Williamston, and it
Mhm.
seems like that's a question maybe we could ask them if they've ever, if they
If they
need, if you need
experienced
to.
that.
So the question is, if an artist accuses us of stealing their art
Have another one featured.
and have someone else paint it.
So if they give
Kind of
us
like a
an
copyright
idea,
law, like they do
Yeah.
with pictures
right,
for bulletin boards.
Basically, you could just put it, signing this RFP, give us a design or redrafts or whatever, takes away your trademark. So we can use this how we wish.
Yeah.
We reserve the right to use
Yeah.
this. how we-
Or maybe
Right.
have that.
It seems
have that
unlikely, but I
artist,
see
yeah,
what you're
yeah.
saying.
I mean,
The legal side of it.
done a lot of RFPs, right, where we put together very detailed computer in my case, right? Things, and people took it and then they turned around and they shopped it. We spent hours putting that together. So
and then they took that to somebody else.
they
and
took that
did
to
it.
somebody else and seen it done. I don't know if artists are gonna worry about it. I don't know, and that's only.
Are we gonna
assuming
be
that
able to see like a drawing that they,
Yeah, the
That they
RFP requires sketches.
oh, for them, so we would be able to view what they have to make sure that there's no,
Yeah, I mean, unless they drew the exact same thing, which
Right.
won't happen.
I don't think
how
that
that
we-
would come into play.
yeah,
Especially because the scope is very.
that's what I was
broad.
thinking too.
If it was very specific, like we're gonna draw a wolf.
Right.
You know,
then it might
everybody's
be a
wolf
little
might
bit
look
different.
somewhat similar, but
Yeah,
And maybe I'm overthinking it, but it just, maybe ask Williamson what they,
if
if
they,
they had any concerns with it.
yeah, that's what I think too. Just ask, and if they
If we
didn't,
have a sketch from both people and somebody has an issue with it, you kind of be like. This is
Right.
what they drew,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is what you drew, this is what's.
I'd
on
make
the
them sign
wall.
some kind of
contract.
contract
thing with
type,
it.
contractual type thing, whereas. Is this
There's
your home?
contracts,
And,
yes,
Okay.
you know,
between the city and the artist, and then the city and
to get us out of
the
liability.
property.
This is our original artwork that you created.
Yep.
Yeah,
In the contracts, it's clearly stated that after installation, the artwork it's the property of the city and the property owner. And not the artist anymore, but that language wasn't in the art piece for their sketches, I guess.
okay.
But it will be later on.
I can add it, like I can
Not
try to
not for the
figure out. a
RFP,
way-
but down the road, at some point, a contract is signed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I drafted that I didn't include because it was just the next step, but yeah.
I'm
that-
not concerned about the people that get the contract, I'm concerned about the people that don't. I mean, maybe I'm overthinking it, I very well could be, I just, I mean,
Well, especially nowadays.
yeah, exactly.
Anything to do something.
Ask Williamson
if
if they had any concerns or any issues or any. And
any safeguards they
That
put
makes
in.
sense.
any safeguards, yeah, no, I am too, I think, right, like I said, I'm all for the artists coming back and using their artistic ability, I think that's great.
Yeah, I can do some research, cause like I said, I drafted this against the Williamson one, so I. Know that at least in writing, they did not have a measure for that, because,
Also, you don't have a contact over there that you could ask, you just haven't looked at what they.
no, I have, but she just sent me this stuff, and like I ripped off and duplicated their stuff. Like for the, so I just know that there was no written formal language for that specific issue, but I can ask and see if they did anything. In the review process or something, I'm not sure, but.
Cause like if someone does a historical one, and someone else does a historical one. And they're very similar,
And they're
cause I
very
could see that happening possibly, because the history of Laingsburg, if they did a train or whatever. I guess I didn't see where you were going, but now I understand.
Right, I mean, because it's intellectual property, it's and that's what an artist does. Just put their vision on paper.
We need to make a motion for her to go forward with the RFP.
Mhm.
But also with that, she's looking for more specifics, right? Like whether or not we approve the multiple.
Well,
smaller
yeah, if
jobs.
you're, cause the RFP will need to include what we want the artist to do. And where,
And then whether or not we're good with just community or more defined language.
yeah, and like I said, I would suggest keeping it broad, that's my.
And I think the several and keeping it broad and community
Yeah.
makes sense.
I can agree with that.
So I do have a question.
multiple mural sites, but we're just looking for one artist to do all of them, or do we want different artists to do different murals?
She said earlier, the answer to
You
that,
said,
Just
for
one.
cost,
Yeah.
and economically, it makes the most sense.
Mhm.
And maybe for some other reasons, but certainly economically.
So that's something that we could,
We don't have to decide that now, do
we don't have to decide that now. I think we put out their RFP as one artist doing it, but if we get, I mean, I'm thinking through whether we could do this or not, right? Throwing it out there. We want to do three. Let's say we want to do three, right? We have artists respond, and we do that here, there, here. And we decide, well, we like that one from that guy. We like that one from that girl. We like that one. We could then talk about, well, okay, we've decided that we're gonna do three different artists. We could change it. I don't see why we couldn't do that.
I think time wise and money wise.
Again,
I just want to make sure it wasn't in the RFP saying one person's doing it all. That's what I was just concerned.
No, not specific.
That being said, though, I do feel like one artist would lead to more a cohesive collection of
Mhm.
murals. Like, even though they
Same
may be
style.
different, but it's gonna be the same style, it's gonna look consistent as you're driving through town.
that is true. Right? That's,
It's a style.
Not that
Mhm.
that's the decision, right, but like, that's my thought.
any other thoughts on? We do, and I don't even know if we've decided on three. I just picked that number, right?
Yeah, I said 2 to 4 in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So we need a motion to basically give her.
Well, I think we need to figure out, I mean, so we have that. Are we gonna go with one artist for the first? Cause I think we wanna get ideas.
You just said it doesn't have, that doesn't have to. be in
She said
our-
one,
right?
yeah, she just needed to know if she could put it out there.
And we're good with just community.
Mhm.
That's the term.
Community days.
I make a motion for her to move forward with that.
Mhm. I second that.
You know, what you can for the motion. Okay, any other discussion? All right, shall we vote? All in favor of approval of moving forward with the mural, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say aye. All right, you got your go ahead. And let us know, Olivia, check with Williamston on that other, and if they say, no, it wasn't a problem, then we won't worry.
Okay,
Don't
yes,
worry
I
about
will
it.
contact them.
Yeah. So, but if they go, yeah, we really struggled with that, and then maybe we have to rethink it. So. All right, food trucks. Anything on that?
Nope.
No, okay, no progress, okay. See, that's a case of just, hey, haven't done anything on food trucks, been, so.
Well, I guess I was under the impression that the food truck projects was not moving forward.
I was as well. I thought we told her to
Okay.
stop moving forward on that.
That's what I
Well,
said.
Okay,
It is a DP, or
Yeah.
DPA situation, but we have the approval.
right,
I guess I can't remember if that was planning commission or council, but at some meeting. I thought that
right.
was-
Well, I think we're all a little bit confused.
Yes, right.
We're-
For the time being, it was put on
Okay.
hold, with the mural being priority.
Good. Yep, perfect. All right, next thing, building inspector. So we have talked, Gail and I have talked to a guy, it's been a little bit.
Well, actually, Paula talked to him.
Paula talked to him too, that's right, yeah. That we could have come in here and he would be, and I'm not gonna remember the details because it's been a little bit. And, we wanted to get in front of council with the thought of doing this and not even sure if he's still willing and able to do it. It was like May or June that we talked to him, right? But he would be in here, we'd have to give him a place to sit for like 2 hours a week.
Yeah, I think it was 3 or 4 hours in one.
Right.
month.
Yeah.
So,
And he would then handle any permits that had to come in, approving them, handling them, going through them. He would handle filing them. Basically, Kim, what you, as I understood it, what you'd have to do is just say, okay, here, that goes to Rob was his name, right? And Rob will handle it.
So we're getting rid of that one that we.
well, you're interested.
That's what we're talking about.
We're just talking about, since
Yeah.
people want us to start investigating other options.
Right, that's what I was
And the
curious,
option we
Yeah,
have.
considering that
yes.
other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
As an additional
Oh.
employee or like somebody from Shiawassee County that just is stationed here?
Paula was a zoning administrator, so we don't have a zoning
So we
administrator.
gotta get
Right.
that part together.
So. I mean,
And I don't know if.
unless you want to have.
Was it local person or, I mean, what is it from Shiawassee County like you were asking
It's
or?
the county has nothing to do. with
Oh.
this.
No,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
would be separate.
It
Oh,
would be separate.
Okay, so it's an additional employee.
It's not, you're not really even.
Contract.
More like a
Contract.
contract.
so how would that person get paid? I guess be the
We
question.
would pay them a monthly stipend.
So we can
Whatever.
investigate options and.
Well,
We're
other
still
cities
paying it.
do
The city would
contracts-
pay it.
Yeah, yeah.
Other
so-
cities do contracts with
Right.
inspectors too.
This particular person, we would be able to keep the permit fees and stuff like that to offset what we were paying as well. But the biggest thing is he actually would be here in our city with our records
Scheduled.
in our city to interact with the,
Residents or?
yes.
And I mean, you're having a lot of great questions. Not gonna be able to answer them, right? But wanna know, do we wanna move forward? Do you want us to contact him, see if he's interested? Have him come in, he can talk and we can get those questions answered, right?
Hmm.
It's not with the county, and we would be moving away from the county, which we are the only city in Shiawassee County that still uses the county.
So question on that, because Dave Schrinka, I think was one of them.
Dave Schrenka is, yeah,
Is he with the county?
he is not.
Okay, he was like
He was,
Okay.
if you know Silvio, he was Silvio before Silvio.
you had no idea who that is.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that's me on that.
He's our building inspector.
Yeah,
What would be the recourse if we needed to dispute something with a person contractor? Who would we go? Because like right now with Sylvia, we can go above his head.
Right,
Who
Right.
would we go
we'd
to?
have to ask this guy.
Okay.
And this particular guy does, I think, 8 other city type, so it's like, he has 8 cities that he represents and does. And so he does them in every city, he comes in and helps you that, certain
Right.
time. And so he would be someone we actually would be able to ask questions and interact with and that sort of thing. So,
And not saying we'd have to go with him,
no,
but this is more a question, do we want to look at doing
Question
something
and
different?
answer kind of thing.
Well, but I'm saying, do we want to look at doing something different than
Just
working with the
stay
county?
or just stay where we are.
How much are we paying the county for it? Are we paying them something?
Yeah, one point we had written it down.
I
I
thought it was
wanna
like
say
$2,500 or
it's in the budget.
$3,000 or something.
That's what I think. I think
So-
it's, I think
and this
it might
would
be
be-
4, somewhere around there.
But he would be doing,
And we would be able to keep our fees.
I'm
too.
like, well, how would he be?
I'm not sure he would be doing, right? He'd be doing more here. But I.
He'd
don't
just be
think
on
he'd-
site more,
he'd be
but
on
doing the
site.
same amount of work.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Now, and I don't know if this is
Knowledge
part of it, but you said something about zoning. We
So-
gotta replace somebody for zoning too, so that, are we looking at this guy for doing that or?
No.
We'd have to ask.
Okay.
I think it's.
I think
worth
it's
at
for
least talking
asking
to
you
him.
guys, do we want to start investigating? Obviously, we gotta get that handled, the zoning thing, but do you want to look at what the options are?
Nothing, it never hurts to look. I
Right.
mean, it doesn't make us wanna do anything, it depends what the budget is.
Right, oh, I agree, and I didn't expect we would have all the answers for y'all tonight. We Knew that we wouldn't. so.
'Cause I mean, I really couldn't tell you what the other announcements would have done for the other person there. You know, what I mean, I've never dealt with them, so.
It makes sense to at least secure it out.
And the council knows that we did have a situation here with the wellness reform that became a problem, and they came in here and had felt like that there was issues that they had a hard time dealing with, and I know there's other people that have reached out that, when they go to get their final occupancy thing and they have problems. So it's just we're not saying, we just wanted your guys' opinion, we should investigate having someone that's more dedicated to our city and knowledgeable of the situations. of what
Well,
we can-
The only bad thing is the ADA approved, that's what the biggest thing was down here for getting them access into these buildings. Don't matter how old they are and stuff, but that's the bad thing, they're really cracking down hard on the ADA part, so that's the biggest part on that too, so. It's only gonna get worse with that. So I don't know, I mean, we can look into this other person or persons or. 'Cause I don't even know what our first choice would have been, or what we were
Well, we
doing,
don't have to do anything,
right?
we can stay with the county.
So right now, people have to go to the county Shiawassee County Courthouse.
Well,
They
No,
send everything through us.
yes.
They fill out everything and then we send it to them.
right, but then
We have no problems with
when I
it.
say something wrong,
I'm just trying to
Correct me,
remember
right?
my process, cause I've had like, I
Yeah.
swear it was like somebody from Shiawassee County come up to
Then
my
they,
house.
yeah,
then
he
they
does,
come
he
out,
does
inspect
the
it.
inspection.
And then, so instead of that,
It would just be this guy would be coming.
we wouldn't have to send it, fax anything over to Shiawassee County, it's all done.
All done in-house.
Yeah, and then that would take away, I mean, they're happy to do stuff, but they really shouldn't have to do this.
Is that one of the things, I don't even remember now, on the job description that we put for Paula, those position, no, any of those duties that would potentially be hard. Yeah.
But what happens is people bring things in here and then they come ask the ladies in the office, so will that work? Is that okay? Is that good? And
No, we don't know what
I
that-
don't know.
But we
Well,
could say, oh, so-and-so's gonna be here on Tuesday from 8 to 5, or
Right.
right, I mean, 8 to 12, or whatever.
I need to answer your questions.
Makes sense.
So, and I'm talking out of turn, we've had plenty of issues with Sylvia. With
I
the
think
current,
there's nothing wrong with just asking.
Right.
and Just seeing.
it's not just
Or
us. when I
saying
say that.
anything, yeah.
So do we need to make a motion to allow?
I don't know, so we need to make a motion.
Is there a way we'd have this person show up to our meeting?
Well,
like
that's,
in-
we would call him,
January.
we would call him
Yeah.
and find out.
Interview them.
The two.
Yeah, yeah, and he's very open. to that. I mean, we just had other things come up and just we didn't follow through.
And quite frankly, some people were in the midst of building things and situations, and we thought that we wanted to make sure that they got done with some of the projects that we had out there, and it might not have been a good time for him to jump in, I guess, too.
So,
Guess it wouldn't hurt to meet him, see what we got there.
so we'll contact him, see if he's still open. If he's not, we can see if there's other people, because, I mean, this is just, he's in Perry, he's close, he's seemed good, right? Perry endorsed him, so. He has the same type of situation set up with them that he would have with us, so. Okay, so we'll contact him if we can put him on the next. Do we want to try and do it the next meeting or maybe February?
Well, the next meeting, it'd take us 3 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay,
I think it'd be 3.
yeah,
I know we got a lot in our plate in January.
Any questions? I
with
got that
this hiring. I mean, do we want to wait till February?
I'll get low down on, my brother lives over in Perry, so he's a licensed builder over there, so. I'll
I
get the low
do,
down.
his name, Rob Kehoe is his name. Just for those.
But we haven't talked to him in a while. so
We haven't
don't
talked to him
know
in
if he's
6 months.
interested.
Yeah, right.
We just wanted to
Let's
feel
call
it
them
out.
up on speaker.
That last name sounds awful familiar.
The reason I remember them from Bath.
Yeah,
If
that's
you
what I'm
know-
gonna say, yes.
If you know.
Yes.
it's from Bath,
Yes.
Kehoe's a famous.
Well, that's
name,
what
so-
kind of like, I know that name.
Yeah.
Hopefully not relative.
Hopefully not a relative.
Okay.
For those that don't know, Kehoe is the guy that blew up the school. So,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
disaster.
Hmm.
the janitor back in 27, I think it was.
There's a threat there today at Bath High School.
Was there really?
That's my wife.
Hmm. All right, next thing. So yeah, I don't think we need a motion to have him come in. Okay. Yep. Music in the park.
Just a quick update. So we talked about, trying to interact with the DDA and kind of seeing about, they had thrown an idea of having the person from the Lake Lansing Band Shelter kind of help with it, and we were gonna talk to the DDA because the DDA also had music type stuff, and I emailed and text Mark Frank. I don't know, did you try to talk to him at all?
Mhm.
So is he open to talking to us, I guess, about
He
it?
didn't shut it down, but he didn't say yay.
Okay, I just feel like we probably should talk to him before we circle back and decide, I mean, cause I don't know what their thoughts are, what they wanna do, but yes. He didn't respond to me, so I don't.
He doesn't
this on email last.
No, right, so I guess if you don't feel like he was like, yay, I think we discuss it, then it goes back to the LBCA to decide how we want to interact with that person, I guess. Is
Yeah, I
that what
guess
you
like-
think?
Well, I would think the LBCA should control it.
No, yeah, absolutely, but I'm just saying,
It's part-
but the DDA had sponsored some music stuff, and so
Right.
that's why I thought we would try to decide, is this person getting contracted? Do they want to pay for him to help give us
Right.
some advice, or are we looking to pay for it out of the LBCA? That's where I was going for. I just need to know where their commitment was, because with this Main Street situation, part of it is that we have more events. I mean, that's what part of it is. So that's where I was going. That I thought like we needed to I mean, is it a matter of maybe getting on their DDA and then we know he's sitting there and we can ask him?
Get it on their agenda.
Yeah, you think that's a good idea?
Yes.
I don't see why it wouldn't be.
That would be the best way to.
Handle that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. If we could get on the DDA, if I could come in and just kind of,
And they don't have one, this month, it'll be some January.
okay. And obviously, this is something that isn't time sensitive, but it is somewhat, because normally we start getting bans and stuff that,
Okay. Community cleanup. I think first question is, do we want to do it again? Do we not want to do it again?
I think if you do it, you're gonna have to set up specific guidelines probably.
Yeah.
Cause some of you guys got stuck with hose with a bunch of stuff that,
So I explored some things with Granger as well, and I don't have the numbers tonight, but I can bring them next month or in the coming months. So looking at options for having them go like curbside to the houses and stuff, and like they gave us some figures for that, or alternatively having a drop site where Granger would be here with the dumpster and manning it, and like people could bring things to the drop site.
we got someone who lives in Laingsburg right down the street right here, and that's what he does. He helps volunteer with them. And like, I think City of Ovid did that. And some
Okay.
other places, they'll drop off big gondola and stuff, a site, and then Granger pretty much donates it.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely, well, when I spoke to them, the lady who was in charge of it, there was a pretty hefty cost involved, but if you have it.
But they do it, I can't remember, I'll get a hold of him and
Yeah.
Mark there and see what he says about it, that he made it sound like it's free. And they're doing it just as a courteous type thing for,
Yeah, that'd be great.
so
Yeah.
obviously it's on the agenda because a year ago is when it was brought up.
Okay.
And we felt like that we needed to get kind of a, at this point, with not having all the kind of making agendas, we've got to kind of pick and get things, what I'm saying, direction. I feel like we need to decide, and I'm with you. I mean, we were all involved, but I am with you that I think we need to go forward, but only if we are able to change it so that it was wonderful, but it really did, it was a lot more than we expected the volunteers to have to do. So it definitely would have to be looked at.
And I think that was really the question for tonight. Do we want to just totally scrap it, or do we want to move forward with potentially making changes? Not that if we decide we want to move forward, we have to do it, but do we want to look at it?
I don't think
Really
it's worth to scrap it, because I felt like that the community really liked it, but I wouldn't do it the same way that
Right.
we
You know, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good way to start and figure out, oh, that's not gonna work.
I think we spent like $800 and some on our dumpsters that we had brought in last year, and then we spent like, I think about 13 hours or something that day picking up stuff. It was a long time,
It was a
maybe
long
not that long.
We did get
But-
sponsored for some of the,
We were sponsored, yeah, but then I think in talking to Granger, maybe we could look at more sponsorship this year, but I feel like it was just, they had like $3,000 maybe, or something like that. To have them go curbside, maybe even more, so it was just.
I'll let you know, 'cause like I said, it sounds like they do like a Saturday. They have their gondola set up, their big dumpster, and then people come to that. And drop their stuff off, and then of course, whatever people couldn't, maybe that's when you volunteer that. Maybe I don't know the services of picking up for them, but
Yeah,
that'd save a whole lot of headache, I
Yeah.
think, too.
so I think we got a lot going in January, and we maybe push it to February, but in that time frame between now and February. We need to talk to the recyclers and see what they're willing to still do, because we brought them in. I mean, you and I were the ones
You
that,
two work on,
yeah, and we had
Yeah, yeah, we have.
Well, I mean, not.
Yeah, just,
But then also, if Marcy, you can get information.
I'll find out more about that.
Because Granger had given me pricing on that situation as well,
Yeah.
that was still even pretty expensive, so.
I'm gonna find out what the free events were there,
Yeah.
whatever, for all the different places you've been, so.
Great.
I'll let you know.
I reached out to Bath and asked them how they did it and what they were paying to, and it was quite a bit of money that they actually did to you guys, or me for the cleanup, so we don't have to run it like everyone else or whatever, but I do think the residents did like it, but it can't be run the same way. That was fiasco.
Maybe we can accept donations too.
okay, so let's have that ready for February. No go. Thoughts, ideas, right? Perfect. 2024. Oh, no, I skipped one. Appoint council member for second check signer. I need to apologize. Should have brought this up in our special meeting. With Paula gone, we needed a third person on the checking and the accounts for the bank. Talking to the lawyer, they recommended that it be somebody on the finance committee, so we went ahead and put Randy on until we get a new clerk, right? We can always change it. It's easy enough to change, but just as a stopgap. So again, I apologize. Meant to discuss it that night. It was on me. Just, we got going about other things. So anybody has any issues with that, let us know.
So who do we got now for you and? Oh,
Gail
yeah, yeah.
and we did confirm that Gail and I being on was not a problem.
But for transparency, we want to make sure that there's another person in.
Right.
And that's.
Right.
It's important that everybody knows.
Let you not me.
And
Just
again,
saying.
I meant to do it in our meeting and just, I didn't get it jotted down, so I forgot about it. So. But as soon as we get somebody hired, they will become, we can figure out who we want to be on at that point, so. Any questions, any concerns? Okay, 2024 holiday schedule.
Let's see the more question.
Okay.
Move them all.
Oh, and then we had Melissa Bichat. She is moving to Holland. She is on one of our committees. And she needs to resign.
Department of
They
Review.
said more.
Board of Review,
Board.
yes. We need to vote to accept her resignation, and then we will need to find somebody to replace.
I make a motion.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say aye. Okay, the resignation has been accepted.
So in this particular case, there is training that they have required this person to have before they can actually do this role. And so it's really important that we fill this position and get them trained in January, so they're up to speed and in February. And I think that's the next time. So
Yeah,
if
it's not a
anybody
big-
knows,
It's not a big time, sorry.
yeah, it's only twice a year, right?
Twice a year, maybe.
If anybody
Well, I
knows.
think it's actually 3 times. You have the training. And something. In March,
Very half days, right?
but then there's 2 half days, right? There's 9 to 3 and then 3 to 6.
And it's a paid position.
Is it paid? Yeah, $15 a month.
Hmm.
So
Oh, that's it.
that's it, yeah. Mhm.
You need training for that?
It's,
They just made it.
and it's,
Let's make that, McDonald's pays $15 an hour. You don't need training.
isn't that what I think that's what because it was 10.
I would probably need training.
And it's very, you sit here from 9 to 3 or 3 to 6, 3 to 9. During the day and when I was on it for 2 years, we had 3 people.
That's actually kind of a lot. I think.
So kind of a lot, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, the converse to that is you could get somebody that's quite upset about their tax bill. All right, so we've done that. If you have any ideas, they do have to be a resident of Laingsburg to fill that role, fill that position.
Of the city,
What?
the city of Laingsburg.
City, of Laingsburg, yeah, sorry. So. One thing I want to just touch on, and I'm not really prepared for this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. And I'm gonna go to each of the DDA, the planning, the library, whatever ones I'm missing, right? An Open Meetings Act, okay? Open Meetings Act, basically in a nutshell, I'm gonna put more information together to pass out in those other ones, but basically, you can't have more than 3 of us deliberating something about the city together, right? Or for the library, discussing things about the library if they're on the board, or planning, discussing things about delivering. Not that you can't get together and you can't talk about things, right? We're gonna all be at the same place and talk, so we can't be deliberating about. And that goes for not only, and then I apologize to you guys when I sent you, so these guys put together the job description, sent it to me. I may change a few things in the top, sent it back, and I should have said, but we can't deliver. Well, they had questions on what I'd done, and I stopped that pretty quick, but that was a case where there were 4 of us on the email and was a no. I'm just not supposed to.
Well, it's another thing like that, sitting down there Friday. You know, I mean, it made it kind of like touchy if all of us were in the same little area
Right.
together.
Oh, for the party.
So when I seen people start showing up, I went,
Yeah.
cause I'm not gonna, you can't, I mean, it
I
sucks.
actually called the MLO, and then under those circumstances for like a party or something like that, we're all actually okay to be in the room.
Oh,
We just
okay,
can't talk about
right,
the stuff.
which I've
on
sat
the
down
agenda.
on tavern myself and had a few of us sitting there at the rail or something, it's like, uh-oh.
And that's fine.
You know,
but
but we're
you
not
can't-
talking about
but
this.
You can't deliberate about
Right,
city council stuff, right? We were okay passing documents back and forth, but when we got into, well, we want to take this out, or we want to put, that was then deliberating about what should go in there, that was. So just using that. as
So
an
you're
example.
stating in that certain situation, the original one that you guys were talking about should have just been put technically in the packet.
No,
We
they
should
were
have
okay,
deliberated
they were
about-
okay sending it to me and me
But
updating it,
discussing it.
but discussing it was that.
Huh.
Yes.
So, sort of like when we get a group text, you know,
Mhm.
there are a lot of people in it, and you just don't respond to group
Right,
Right.
reply.
yeah,
all.
no, I get it. I remember Paula talking about it like
Yeah.
a few months ago.
I mean, there's training on it that we could get as far as
Right.
that goes, those training stuff that we revisiting that idea.
Right.
No, it's appropriate.
And we're hearing about it happening in another organization, so it wasn't us when I brought it out there, it was them, but I've said I'm gonna go to each and just kind of spell it out, and I'm gonna
That's
put
what-
together bullet points.
that's
right?
what makes it difficult, I guess, being in a position like this.
Yeah.
Too,
Yeah.
so, it's not a normal spot to be in,
Right, exactly.
with all eyeballs on you.
All right, next thing, anything else? Under items of business before we get into paying bills? All right, can I get a motion to pay the bills?
I make a motion.
Receipt, it's always
Yeah, like, okay, so that-
Okay, the-
Yeah, so,
That's all I do now.
any discussion or questions? All right, roll call.
Miller,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes,
Isler, yes, Peters.
Yeah.
Craig,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes,
Easley.
Yes. All right, committee reports.
Oh, I heard one question. I'm sorry, can I ask it? When we were, well, when I get to committee reports, I can ask in the.
Okay, yeah, there's another other items.
No, no.
All right, first on the list, police committee.
so, had, 17 reports. In the city had, 1,218 patrol miles, 29 total traffic stops. 11 traffic tickets issued. And 18 traffic warnings. Had basically total of 4 ordinance violation warnings. Do you want to go on the other part of your additional information, or you want me to go over that or anything? Okay, well, so he had, Dan did have 2 liquor inspections. He attended the career day at Laingsburg High School for police, fire, and EMS. He assisted with the Grinch Run. Also middle school basketball games, he was asked to show up for that. I guess we had an unruly parent or something that was served with a trespassing letter, not to be back there in the middle school. So, that's about, I guess, it for that.
Okay. Let's just, finance.
So we talked a little bit about the budget, because normally at this time we get like a preliminary type budget. We know we need to get it ready so that we can be ready for the public hearing in May. We just kind of discussed that. There was one bill that we noticed, or I noticed, when we were signing or looking over the thing to the new auditor for, I think it was $11,000, but I just wanted to get kind of an update. I'm guessing we paid them, so they're done. I would assume we're not gonna pay them unless they're done, so I'm guessing we're gonna need to put it on the agenda next time to find out what our what the ruling was, and
Yeah, I have the report and everything.
Yeah. So that was pretty much it. Paid the bills and went over that, we're gonna have to get ready for the budget.
Okay, I see something on here I want to get on one of our agendas for February and March, movies in the park. Okay, and I think you brought up, or you guys have talked about movies in the park, and it appears the revenue is going down, which is indicating that less, people showing up, and just want to talk a little bit about that, if it makes sense to keep doing it, if there are changes we should make, or whatever. So I don't want to do it right now, I think, but I can wait.
Well, that was not something else too that we forgot, but then write it down, was the police vehicle to the fire department. They did.
Well, we talked about the last meeting.
Did we?
It did, yeah, I mean,
I just seen it on here and I'm like.
yeah,
the other night they were
buy
taking-
it?
I was
Yeah,
gonna
give us
get
that.
that fire board meeting, or, once Marcy gets to that.
the exit's on there.
Oh,
Go ahead.
that's the one that I was just reading.
Oh, are we done with finance?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, here we go. So, that should be,
Yeah, so-
That's the one that I saw.
so we're gonna, let's do this. So emergency services chief's report. So the ambulance report, ambulance had 40 runs for the month, 372 year to date. Fire, 39 for the month, 395 year to date. And looks like, purchase of a new ambulance. I know we're going for that. Delivery date, oh, and also number 6 down here is purchase of 2013 Ford Explorer.
Well,
So-
it's funny because I seen it on this one too, and that's the only reason why I noticed that we had it on there for the finance. one.
Yeah.
It was on there, and then I was looking at this one, and I'm like, oh crap, did we forget something?
So that's about all there is for that.
Fire board approved that sale, so, next meeting, we'll have, Paul's do the check, and then once that check's written, then we'll switch the insurance from us to the fire department. Reference to the new ambulance, we did put 10% down on a new ambulance. It's a question of, will we get one in June or November of next year? So we are guaranteed one, we just don't know when that one's coming in. We did meet with Stryker, because we're ordering some of the equipment ahead of time, so that the plant down in Florida that's making the ambulance can put that stuff in. So they'll have it, and then they can install it when they build the ambulance. Was there also anything in there about conversation starting with Perry ambulance? service?
No, not those.
So we had a meeting with Perry. As you know, there's always been a shortage of paramedics and staffing. So this is the initial phase. We've had a meeting with them. What would a Southern Shiawassee EMS service look like? And it would be totally redone as to that whole type of organization. So basically, it's not even in the future yet, but we're at least talking. There's Trent Atkins, who's the new fire chief there. He's gonna look at maybe a feasibility of their assets, our assets, how it may even work. But there's so many entities involved and stuff that it's gonna be a long way coming. We are still talking with Victor Township about either doing half or all of Victor Township for ambulance service. And that's still a ways out, because again, that would have to be voted on by their voters over in Victor Township.
Next time you see Trent, tell him I said hi.
I'll do that.
I used to work with him. No, not with him. but being with him. All right. Planning Commission. We had a number of site plan updates. Which ones were which?
124 is the tutoring center.
Right, that's
Connections.
connections. And they just wanted to, well, so they had concerns with the sidewalk on the side of their building, who their architect is telling them that they need to make it ADA compliant. And they didn't want to do that because of cost. We basically told them that was not us. So
Wouldn't it be the second 88?
that would be the second.
Yeah, so they have one.
They have one, the front
That's-
one is valid.
Right.
You have to have more than their contractor or whatever.
Architect.
Architect is saying that they have to have like more than 60% of the entrances as ADA compliant, but they only have two entrances.
So I'll put 60%. So how do
You have to do
Right.
both.
Right,
And
yeah.
in order to do that, they'd have to put some like ramp off the side, or like towards PDPs and, but it wasn't, that's not up to us.
It's not, yeah, it's the county.
If we can't get some kind of grant money for that, for these businesses, to put them on.
But
We got something out there, we should clarify it.
They were concerned about other businesses in town that totally aren't ADA compliant.
I don't know that we have any businesses that have two entrances. Maybe,
Ours on the meta Mars.
We defer
The
them
meta
back.
or the meta spa had one from the front. Here's our ramp.
As far as two.
Everywhere stories do that. So. Yeah, I've only worked up and down there thousands of times. So, so there was that. There was the one for the dance studio. Started that process.
We brought in like images, renderings of.
Yeah.
That's really incredible looking.
Very nice. Very nice.
It planned to take off the backside of the building
Really?
and build out a like black, like modern rear side, I guess, to it with like a courtyard.
Oh.
Cafe type thing, and then in the front, renovate the historical side. to remain
That'd be kind of
historical.
cool.
Yeah.
Keep going. You're remembering this better than I am.
No, it was really
Yeah.
impressive.
Put some money in this building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah,
grant.
it's quite impressive. I mean, I think their hopes are for like next summer type of thing to be done, but that's probably ambitious. And they thought that as well. And they, on the second floor of it, they're gonna have it be both dance studio, I believe, and also like convertible into a banquet center, which ties into the next one where Cinders is. Where that's gonna be used as a banquet area. And so there will be potentially two banquet areas next to each other, and we're looking to add the term banquet facility under the definition of special land use. Property maintenance code, we're still working on that. Spicer Group had brought us one, but it was like a universal property maintenance code that we just thought was way too broad and didn't really fit Laingsburg, so we've asked for a more limited or a refined option next month.
Survey.
So we were talking about doing a survey, we have a list of questions, doing the UVC code. QR code, right? And then having people ask questions.
So the list is pretty well finalized at this point. I think we're still looking at
So was it,
how to distribute it. and what-
so I see stakes down there behind Klotz's and all that. The city owns that. Did we have it surveyed again or something? Anybody know anything about, cause
From her.
The sale.
spots that are surveyed are not ours, that's where, I don't know, that she's buying, that's. Part of where the building.
She's buying clothes.
They had it.
oh, got you. That's where we right for a loop. I'm like, we did that a long time ago, but I didn't know if we were doing something with it was.
Good. And kind of on that note though, because we have talked about all these different ideas and I don't really want to go down that much tonight of like
Right.
what we want to do there, but. To keep in mind, I guess they are planning on the back of it, at least with their current renderings, doing like a patio cafe with like.
Oh,
lights,
gotcha.
lights and tables and stuff. And I know we've explored different options like food truck corridor, like gazebo and things like that. So
Right.
maybe something to keep in mind as we potentially continue these conversations, what would be necessary with that right next to it.
Well,
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
a
I got
banquet,
ya.
If they are gonna make the banquets. Anyway,
No, yeah, I think
I mean, that would be a good use of space.
Yep. Oh, yeah, they have a really good plan.
What would be the use of space?
Just revamping that area, but having it more event based
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah,
permanent, so to speak, I guess.
yeah, it actually might have to potentially be used there.
Mhm.
It looks really neat.
But some,
You should see the
Yeah,
renderings.
I have no doubt in the thing it's gonna be.
And it's at Klotz's?
Yeah.
Sweet.
You know, upstairs.
That building is beautiful,
Yeah.
inside of that building.
Need
I
some
just
TLC, but it'll be
loved
nice
it,
when it
yeah.
does.
That
it already
building's
looks
beautiful.
better though, she's cleaned
Yeah.
it up and the
Mhm.
windows look nice.
Yeah.
It was decorated.
I wonder
for-
about that. I'm like,
Yeah.
They had it open for Winterfest.
I couldn't remember who hit, I didn't know who was who.
I didn't
who
either,
got
I-
in there
yeah.
until I was told this weekend. I
That's
was like,
cool.
That is awesome.
I think they're planning to put like 1.2 million into it or something.
holy
Yeah,
crap.
what, 600,000.
With a 600 match.
Wow.
well, she's hoping to get grants for some of her 600, but yeah.
That's gonna be amazing. That building is beautiful.
So so one of the things, the banquet center, this will be coming to us at some point. The recommendation was, so what you do with with something being a category, for lack of a better term, as special land use is you can say, all right, this special land use of banquet center, we're gonna set some
Parameter.
rules, parameters around what a banquet, like, they can only be open till midnight. Or they can't be over so much,
Decibels,
Decibels.
sound,
Mhm.
past a certain hour.
you have to have this many parking spots, right? Those type of things, and those are things that it was recommended to us that we get in place. Just,
Do we have a noise ordinance?
we do have a noise, so, yes.
Mhm.
But they recommended, that we put that in place, 'cause, we may all trust Jen.
Yeah.
And, think she wouldn't do anything like that, but they said, what happens if she sells?
Yep.
Or somebody else comes in and says, well, she's doing it, why can't I? Right?
Well, you just gotta have those things.
Yeah,
stipulations in
no,
place.
that's right, but
Makes
but
sense.
that's, planning commission is working
Working
on
on those
that,
details.
but that will come to city council. All right, DPW.
Okay, pretty simple. They're done picking up leaves with the back, they're using the backhoe. I think you're done this week. You've done that.
Well, we were done last week, when we finished up
I saw
some
it
files
yesterday.
today. There was tons of files around.
Oh, I had no time. Wow. So they got lights up. Library, the ceiling issues and the book shelves, they're looking at putting casters on, they can't do it, so we're gonna look at new bookshelves, which I'm sure will be covered in the library thing.
Yeah,
Pickleball people are still asking us to do things and we just say we can do only what we can budget out, so we're fixing it, making it as safe as possible for them and
Can we take, maybe they'll start some kind of like tournament stuff or something and maybe trying to help generate some money to help maintain them too as well, I guess. Be my,
that'd be a great thing, but then you gotta
I
have
mean, I see-
officials and.
well, I know, but I see Lake Victoria, that's where they're out of. They don't have any. I drove through my old neighborhood and around the old parks and they have nothing for pickleball there. So, I mean, maybe they need to get something there too. I don't know. Help them spend their money there too.
Yeah, that's unlimited, they want to, so down there, right now, we're just doing what we can with budget wise, so. Ken's tree service has started doing some tree trimming and that's about it.
Pickleball people were in planning, were they a planning meeting
EDA.
or DDA meeting? Yeah, one to.
They want to spend their money.
And we do really appreciate the DPW helping with Winter
Yes.
Fest and,
Thank you for everything.
and also the police for, everything safe.
Dave, is the compost locked off? No,
No, I don't, it's open back up.
okay. I went a few weeks ago to drop off some couple branches or something. It was chained up, so.
I was having issues with people thinking that Devin was back there because they lived in the city where they were stuck. Go after big brown squirrels, so. Did a lot of things.
Really?
Did they have horns?
Well, then we got people abusing it too. That's what I thought was going on because, I mean, I've caught him in the act when Rob was here, the supervisor, back dumping some of my stuff and here's a guy from out of town who's on, he didn't come from in town dumping stuff and he tore it up bad and that's what I thought maybe happened this time.
Well, when we locked it up to take care of that issue a year and a half ago, that kind of resolved itself after we locked it, so.
All
Well,
right,
we appreciate that you have that back there, just so you know,
Yeah,
because none other towns offer that.
library.
All right, so our local Lions Club donated $3,000 to our library. 2,000 of it was to go to the ebooks that we offer for Overdrive. And then $1,000 was donated for, if there's something that the library needed. We discussed the rolling shelves. They discussed with Dave about the carpet proposal. Shiawassee County One Read starts in January. They started advertising for it in December. They did the silent auction. Let's see here. The Google Glow was a success. The book bundle, we talked about bundling books to be able to promote that for the silent auction. We discussed it. We discussed changing the library walls. Kid size shelving, which we talked about that. We discussed the Winterfest stuff and possibly doing, I think that she did a mural on the window at the library as well. We did have another library for Bath Township show up to help. We kind of discussed certain things with them as well. A lot of it was just had to do with the silent auction. Story time that will be postponed. They were doing one story time in December and then it was gonna be not start back up until after the year. Flooring, they were gonna discuss that with Dave. We have Operation Kid Corner. That we were discussing on building a certain spot in the library for kids because some kids kind of don't like little kids. There needs to be a toy area. And then we discussed snacks for Winterfest. And that is pretty much it.
The final auction looked great.
It did.
I'm very happy with that. Are you guys investigating not just carpet, but other?
Yeah,
tile types?
flooring, yeah. I know that they brought it to the
I talked
DPW,
to
yeah.
Who had companies doing giving bids on both flooring and laminate.
Mhm.
How much did the auction?
That's on our next meeting. I don't go to that till next week.
And I have to say that the Santa and Mrs. Claus came in and did a story time and
Was a big
Sunday.
hit.
It was very, very, and the kids came this time for the first time and it was very magical.
It was exciting. Mr. and Miss Claus were super excited about it this year.
They did a lot of things.
They did have a lot of kids. They actually had one that couldn't make it in. And Mr. Santa stayed later to meet with him because he had missed it. He was in the hospital, so
Oh,
he stayed after to be able to visit with me.
and it was so funny, actually, the kids knew what they asked for and said, and I laughed my butt off a few times.
It was something that they hadn't did in a few years. We started going virtual with it, and this year was the time that we needed to have kids back. So
So,
it's exciting.
so a couple things. Man, something, you're all packed up like you think you're down. Be quick. So, talking about Mr. and Mrs. Claus, I want people to think about, they do a lot for this community. And I don't know if you're, but it's something that we can do for them. And I'm thinking key to the city, name a street after them, something, right? And I don't know if those are good ideas, but something that we can do to show our appreciation to them. They do, and I know they get paid for what they do, but they go above and beyond.
And we're gonna be building new streets.
True.
Like.
So, you don't wanna do anything, yeah, just let's think about it, what we could do, so for them. And then the last thing, it's actually on the same page. We all can start, I wanna at the end of the meeting, so jot down ideas for the agenda for the next meeting. If we have something that we want to get on an agenda, you can always let Kim know, hey, let's add this to the agenda, right? But if we just make it part of our regularly scheduled meetings, something popped in your head during the meeting, hey, let's talk about that. Let's get that out there and discuss it. So we make sure things, Kim will handle the things that are regular, normal things that happen in January, February, March, but there are things that I think we want to do that, getting them on the agenda would be good. So,
Right, because we want to do some things and.
right, yep, exactly. So. Okay, anything else? All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. It wasn't as long as I was afraid.